Good morning, everyone. We're just asking you to allow for 5 minutes while we get some other students online. We will begin promptly at 9:05. Thank you. Good morning and welcome to the Mona School of Business and Management's Undergraduate Virtual Orientation 2021. We're excited to have you this morning, and we are dubbing the theme, beginning with the end in mind. That's absolutely important. We want to say to you, welcome to the best days of your life. You are an elite group of students. In fact, the MSBM, as we affectionately call it, is oversubscribed. Just to put that in context, you are a part of about 600 students selected from over 2,000 applicants. So you're special. We want to start with that. And we want you to think about the end from now. I don't know how many of you are familiar with Shonda Rhimes. That's how she writes her very popular TV series. She starts with her conclusion. And then in a very episodic way, she works her way through each of those bits that will ensure that that end makes sense. So we want you to be able to think, to have a mental state that lives in that future, that then takes you on a daily basis to where you want to be without deviation. I don't want to say too much more now because we have a very important gentleman who is coming to bring you the official welcome. First of all, I'm Andrew Spencer, and I'll be your host for today. But I invite our executive director, Dr. David McBean, to bring you the official welcome and greetings.
Okay, good morning, everybody, and welcome to the MSBM. I just need to bring up a presentation that I'd like to share with you, but in the interim, as Dr. Spencer said, you have been put into one of the elite areas of UWI, which is in itself an elite institution. So congratulations, you have made it ahead of hundreds, if not thousands of other applicants. And while we have a rigorous academic institution here, we're all here to help you. So I'm just going to go ahead now, and if I can get this sharing to work for me. And okay. Are you seeing the presentation on screen, Dr. Spencer?
Yes, we are. Yes,
we are. Okay, excellent. So, colleagues, you know, I'm not seeing the presentation myself, so I'll have to. I don't know why, but anyway, I want to thank you again for us for being here. So welcome to MSBM and UWI. You have joined one of the largest schools, as I said, and it's very competitive, so congratulations. I want you to remember that university is the most exciting time of your life. So don't let COVID-19 prevent you from enjoying your time here. You'll see this as a theme throughout. Please pay attention to the academic rules, particularly the handbook. Things change from year to year. So what your friends who were here 5 years ago, or even your friends who were last year ago, the rules get modified from year to year. We want you to know that we have prepared well for you, even in an online space. This is our second year where we'll have a new cohort coming in online and virtually. And we want you to know that we have the expertise, we have the skills, but it's a collaborative effort. Yeah. So before I go any further, I would like to introduce our academic heads who are here to tell you who heads up the various areas. So how MSBM is organized, we have 2 deputy executive directors, as well as other academic directors and unit heads. For you as undergraduates, the unit heads and the deputy executive director undergraduate programs are most important. First, Dr. Lila Rao Graham, who is our deputy executive director for the MBAs and DBAs. So for those of you who, once you finish undergraduate, wish to pursue the MBA, or of course do postgraduate research, that's the area you'll go in. So welcome, Dr. Rao Graham, and you will see the videos opened to indicate the different heads as I introduce them. Dr. Andrew Spencer, who you met, who is our MC for the program, he is our Deputy Executive Director for Undergraduate Programs, and he's also the unit head for tourism and marketing. So those of you doing undergraduate degrees in the tourism and marketing fields, that's your unit head. So welcome, Dr. Spencer again. Dr. Indiana Mintakoy is our academic director for the MSc programs. So those are the other masters, for example, accounting and marketing, etc. But as a unit head, she takes care of international business, entrepreneurship, and strategy. So those of you doing a BSc in entrepreneurship, for example, this is your unit head. Our other unit head is Ms. Shirley Ann Eaton, who is our unit head for finance and accounting. And those of you doing accounting degrees and banking finance, these fall under her purview. Our next unit head is Dr. Charlotte Donalds, and she heads up the decision sciences and information systems. Those of you pursuing logistics and operations management, this is where you will fall. And last but certainly not least is Dr. Noel Cowell. He is a unit head for the behavioral sciences and general management area and covers, I think, the largest group by numbers in terms of undergraduates. And so here, those of you who are doing HR or BSc in management studies, this is a unit that you will fall under. So these are your unit heads. And of course, I'm the executive director. And so there is a hierarchy. So I want to talk very briefly about some simple rules to follow. You'll be introduced, if you haven't already, to SAS, which is the student system. So application for courses, minors or majors, are done online through SAS, not the lecturer, not the unit head or the deputy or executive director or support staff. And it's very important because we have the largest numbers. We have over 3,000 undergraduates. So it's very difficult to be dealing with everybody individually when we have this system through which we have already given you decisions or recommendations, etc. So it's very key because a lot of students have not applied through SAS, are sending emails, and then you don't get what you want. When you want to do a course or a minor or a major, and you'll have this information when you do your individual breakout sessions according to your degrees, please ensure you have the prerequisites, which is the courses that you need, or the CSEC or CAPE that you need, or you meet GPA and other requirements. It's very important. Consult the handbook. We consider every application carefully and we give you back the result on SAS. Multiple applications only clog up the system and make it harder both for yourself and for other students. We're implementing some solutions which will come on board later this semester, but I would like to implore you, do your application on SAS and follow for the decisions and the explanations there. Please don't do multiple applications because 99.9% of the time we give you the same answers. And I can't emphasize this enough. Pay attention to the academic rules, please. I want to speak a bit about an issue we've seen since we've gone online and which Dean would have spoken about, but I want to reinforce this. But first, I want to speak a little bit about the core values of MSBM. Integrity, innovation, excellence, and this is very important. Excellence means that you do your best at all times. You have now made the transition, most of you, from high school to university. It means that we don't expect you to merely regurgitate your notes or your lecture slides, but we expect you to read for your degree, which is why we do recommended reading, so that to excel, to get an A, means you have to do work and the recommended reading outside of your lectures. Transparency. This is what holds us, the contract between everybody here, so that we are transparent with you and we hope you're transparent with us. Civic responsibility speaks to how we are responsible in a society to each other. So it's not just about what students want or lecturers want, but we have to think about what each other want, what each other would want, and what we need to do for the society. I'm coming back to integrity, because integrity is at the heart of all of this. It is a contract between us. It's about the rules we live by as academics and staff of MSBM, and also the rules that we expect the students to live by. Unfortunately, during our online learning experience, students have found novel ways to cheat, but we have also found novel ways to discover. And so last year, a lot of students were unfortunately either suspended, got no marks for their exams, and in some cases asked to leave the university because of cheating. It's something we take very seriously. Do not ask somebody to sit your exam. Do not tell us you have submitted a paper and it failed, and then we find out that the actual paper you have submitted, you modified it after the exam close date. And we take a zero tolerance approach to this, because when we send you out into the world as MSBM graduates, we're telling whether it's employers or other universities that our students believe in these core values and actually live them. All right. So I'm sure none of you will get involved in this, but please do not succumb at all to that temptation. We're here to help. We're here to guide you. No exam will be unfair. No coursework will be unfair. But what's required is that you put in the work. This, again, is different ways you can connect with us. I know you belong to the social media age. So we have a website, but we also have all of these, and we also have an MSBM app, which we'll speak about later. As I say, my final greetings and welcomes, we would all love to get back face to face, but as we know, the pandemic, and we're in the middle of the surge, has made it impossible for us to do so. So please stay safe. And we know that the best way to stay safe and for us to come back face to face is for as much of us to be vaccinated as is possible. So I encourage those of you who have not yet been vaccinated, you can get an easy appointment at the Mona Aging and Wellness Center or any other of the centers which are close to you, which may be convenient. So welcome to the University of the West Indies. Welcome to MSBM. I'm sure we'll have a great time together and make friends and enjoy it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. McBean. And students, I'm sure you'd have listened intently. All of what has been said there, very important, those values or core values. At this point, I will be taking you through a presentation, an academic overview. And it is not my intention, because I know you went to the Faculty of Social Sciences orientation yesterday. It's not my intention to be redundant. It's not my intention to say anything that Dr. McBean has already said. So I'm going to be very brief, just touching on some of the key points that you will need to be mindful of in your academic journey. As I share my screen, I hope you're seeing that. Dr. McBean, can you confirm that you're seeing this?
Yes, I can.
Okay, brilliant. Okay, so as Dr. McBean mentioned to you, I'm the Deputy Executive Director with responsibility for your undergraduate, well, he likes to say undergraduate affairs, which makes it more than just the programs. So your journey, your experience is something that falls right within my remit. And we're here to ensure that this is a memorable experience over your 3 years for those of you who are full-time, and for those who are part-time, depending on what path you choose thereafter, 4 or 5 years, not a day longer. So today's presentation will go through a little bit of the structure. We'll talk a little bit about majors and minors, and then I'll give you some additional information where you can get further details. Do not forget that there are breakout sessions at the end of this plenary so that you can go into your units. Dr. McBean told you about the unit heads. They'll be taking you through some more detailed discussions about these majors and minors. But I'm sure you heard about the structure of a degree. I'm reiterating it simply because we still have a lot of students at the end of their programs. Remember, we're doing this with the end in mind, who at the end of their programs still come for a credit check. They're woefully lacking and they can't understand why. Very important that you have 30 level 1 credits. Now, all of this is towards your 90 credits in order to be able to graduate. Your levels 2 and 3, we call these your degree credits, yeah? And you'll hear about your degree GPA, and you'll learn all of this. You must have 60 level 2 and level 3 credits in order to complete, but this is not instead of, it is in addition to your 30 level 1 credits. So if you're missing, and if you have 27 level 1 credits, but you have all your degree credits, you will not be able to graduate. We want you to be mindful of this. You need to know the difference, students, between a course and a credit. Typically in the MSBM, our courses carry 3 credits, okay? And what that really means in terms of your instruction for the week is that for that particular course, you are to have 3 hours of instruction. Now that instruction may vary. For some of our courses, it's 3 hours of all lecture. And for other courses, it may be 2 hours lecture and 1 hour of tutorial. But for each 3 credit course, you should have 3 hours of instruction per week. Your lecturers will tell you more about office hours and those kinds of things, but we're talking about instruction hours at this time. Be mindful of something that's known as a level 0 course. Now, what does this mean? It's a course that you may need to do to get your competency level up to be able to do one of our level 1 courses. And you will see these throughout. Some people will need to do it. It may be a remedial math course. It may be something to do with remedial English. But in our case, I'll give you one very germane example. Tourism management students, for example, if you've not done a language, you will have to do either SPAN 0101 or FRIEND 0101. Now, these courses do not carry credit. They're 0 level courses in the Faculty of Social Sciences, but you must do them. But what you need to be mindful of is that they do not count towards your 30 level 1 credits. Okay, so you would need then to do your 10 courses that have credits and this 1 course that does not carry credits. But you need this course to be able to do your next level language course. That's just one example. So for your majors, we have designed it so that you are required in the main to have 10 courses that are core to your major. So if you're a marketing major, you need to become familiar with the handbook, as Dr. McBean said, know what these 10 courses are, and then understand how to map your journey, and therefore what electives you do outside of those 10, but ensure those 10 are there. Do not end up with a lot of courses and then end up with 8 of your core courses. These are critical to that particular major. Learn what they are. For our minors, usually what we ask is that a student gets 5 courses, and those 5 courses are usually detailed in the handbook, the Bible, towards a particular minor. I'll tell you more about what minors we offer. There are few. I want you to just be mindful of that. And these credits for your minors ought not to be credits that overlap with the core courses for the majors, okay? It's very important that you know this. The same is true for double majors. What is an elective? This is a term you will hear a lot. These are courses that are not mandated for your major, but they are courses that you will need to do in order to complete your 90 credits. So it's very important. And you need to choose these wisely, whether you're choosing them towards a minor or whether you're choosing them, and bear in mind, you'd have to get approved for the minor first, or whether you're choosing them because of a career path that you intend to take and you want your transcript to reflect a certain set of electives. These may be courses that are in the department, or they may be across the university, outside of the faculty, inside the faculty. So those are electives. What are the majors that we offer at the MSBM? Accounting, a very popular one. And as Dr. McBean mentioned, we have our Management Studies BSc, which is our largest program by student numbers. We have our Human Resource Management degree. There's Operations Management. There's the growing Entrepreneurship program, getting a lot of interest. There's Marketing. We find that a lot of students are moving also in that direction. There's Tourism Management, and we have 2 joint degree programs, one with the Department of Economics, known as Banking and Finance, and the other with the Faculty of Science and Technology, known as Chemistry and Management. What are our minors? Currently, we offer only 4 minors: a minor in accounting, a minor in management studies, a minor in tourism management, and a minor in hotel management. The latter, or the last one, usually recommended for those doing a tourism management degree who want to complement that with the hotel management side of things. Some other terms that you need to be aware of. Dr. McBean told you about the handbook. You will see a lot of these. Prerequisites. This is a course you must do before you do another course. Please do not come and ask the unit heads to do a prerequisite with a course for which that course is a prerequisite. You will not be allowed to do it. One must be done before the other. So you have to plan your journey carefully. Co-requisites. These are courses that you will need to take together in a given semester. Anti-requisites, courses that cannot be taken together for credit. And it's important that for credit bit, if you choose to take them together, you're likely not to receive credits for one of them. So know what these are. Overrides. Let me spend 30 seconds on overrides. These are important. For most courses, there are restrictions, whether restrictions by department or restrictions because you do not have the prerequisite. So there are some errors you will see coming up on your registration. Prerequisite and test score error. You will see another one, departmental restriction. You may see field of study restriction. You may see that the course is simply full. And the only override that can be given in that case is what's called a capacity override. We are not fond of it. And there's a reason why. Courses are designed to ensure that you get the best possible quality. If the numbers are not managed, you will not be able to get the kind of quality that you should. So when that course cuts off, unless you have a very, very powerful case, for example, it may be the very last course before you graduate, it's not offered in semester 1 and you would have to wait until semester 2, we may consider a capacity override to squeeze you into a course that's already full. But overrides are the things you request of your lecturers, your unit heads, and in some cases, the Deputy Executive Director for Undergraduate Affairs, yours truly. So exemptions, transfers, study abroad, we have a lot of information on this, and you are free to visit the information that we have posted on the website. That information is there for you. There's actually a newer one. So you can just visit www.mona.ue.edu, social sciences, and then you can search for Mona School of Business and Management. You will find our information, the latest information on how to change or to request a change for major. I want to just say something. You can't change your major. You can't change anything in terms of what you've been accepted for. What you can do is request it. And there's a discretion that's up to the lecturers and the unit heads in terms of a number of things, whether you meet the mark. We have a 3.0 GPA requirement for these kinds of things. Cumulative GPA, not your last semester's GPA, not your degree GPA, cumulative GPA. So it's GPA, but it's also whether we have space to take you into another major. So when students write emails, just remember that you are requesting to have this change done. You are not stating that you have declared a new major. Very important. I will encourage you to visit all our social media sites. I will share more with you at the end of this session, but those are the things I want to share with you in terms of an overview. I want to use the time very efficiently because we have a very exceptional gentleman who is coming to share with us at this point. He is the campus director for the Western Jamaica campus. They are our major partners in our educational offerings. He is Dr. Patrick Prendergast. I will invite Dr. Prendergast to share with you briefly at this moment. Over to you, Dr. Prendergast.
Morning, everybody. I hope you can hear me. I hope you can see me. I hope you are seeing the presentation as well. Can somebody just confirm, Dr. Spencer?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. So good morning and welcome to the University of West Indies, Mona, Western Jamaica campus. As you've heard, indeed, we are still online, but we're in two worlds. Basically, we're one Mona, but two locations. And that is why you'll hear reference to our student who is registered at WJC as the UM Mona WJC student. But as undergraduates in the Mona School of Business and Management, you are, as you've heard, among the largest of the population groupings registered with us at WJC as well. So you have different levels of welcome. You have the campus welcome, you have the faculty welcome, you have the MSB welcome, and of course, the MSB at WJC welcome. So we really take pleasure in sharing our space with you. We also say to you, welcome to success. Now, you've already heard about the success of Mona in the local, regional, and global space. We are a higher education institution undergirded by the values of integrity and excellence. And I want to repeat something that Dr. Martin said, or to underscore. I encourage you to do everything to guard that degree. Guard it dearly. The integrity of a degree, it must be defended, and you have a responsibility to support that defense. You also know that MSBM, you've heard it over and over because it's true. MSBM is an international accredited school of business and management. So even as new undergraduates, you need to see yourself as entering an elite group of students, of forward thinkers, of people who are going to be engaged in innovation and contributing significantly to what's happening in their community. And at the UA, we believe that and support that. We do everything to encourage and promote a culture of student success at UA Mona Western Jamaica campus. It's something that we really and truly believe in. In a couple of years, we will be 15 years since we've been established in the city of Montego Bay, right? So what you'll see is that, you know, as part of the process of change, MSBM is also involved in that. In recent times, we've been consolidating in terms of physical space, in terms of population, as a consequence, in part due to the pandemic, but as to the COVID-19 pandemic, but as Dr. Matthew says, that we are basically ensuring that we are able to provide you with the kind of experience that is consistent with the excellence as part of our core values. So we wanted to bear that in mind, that in as much as we are consolidating, the way I love to look at it is that we're transforming stronger and bolder. And new students, especially in this particular cohort, you will simultaneously witness and engage firsthand in the transformation of our campus over the next 3 to 4 years. While you're here, we're talking about thinking about it at the end. We need to project you as part of that. And the MSBM, you're in a department that will be leading along with other departments in the Faculty of Social Sciences, leading to introduce fresh and distinctive international programs, really and truly as part of building relationships that will further solidify our global ranking in higher education. But it will also open up the campus and the city of Montego Bay to some new and unique opportunities for international fellowships, for student exchanges, groundbreaking undergraduate research and graduate research, of course. And you're online now, and in-person, hybrid and online teaching experience that not only differentiates us from the pack, but will sustain our fundamental mission as a campus in changing lives and transforming communities. So yes, the pandemic will affect our student numbers. The pandemic will actually affect our physical capacity. But one thing you can be guaranteed, regardless of the numbers or the space, the relationship that you have with the academic, administrative, and technical and support staff at UWI Mona WJC will be one that says, we go beyond and above, or I should say above and beyond, because we appreciate and we value you. You have made the right decision to invest in your education at this time, and you've made the right decision to be with us at UWI. And we are happy as part of the Mona system to have you as part of our family. I encourage you to embrace all the opportunities there are for you to do well, for you to do more than the ordinary, for you to find your bold. These are the programs Dr. Spencer mentioned before. These are the programs that are available within the Mona School of Business and Management that you'll be able to do as a registered student at the UWI Mona WJC. So I want to also encourage the returning students to share with the new students their own success stories. It's important, but it's also, you need to be mindful in sharing your success stories though, that you give the right kind of information. As Dr. Spencer said earlier, things change from time to time. We have upgrades, we have updates. You yourself need to be familiar with those changes. Or share the success stories. Let them know that we hold dear the promotion of our campus as a center of academic excellence. We hold dear the promotion of MSBM as a center of innovation and forward thinking. We see our role as part of this process at WJC in making sure that you have really and truly a very, very good experience. So our staff is there, our campus administrative staff, the technical and support staff, we're there for you. From student admissions, registration to examinations, we have a bursary unit, there's IT, we have facilities, and of course, there's a very, very strong, agile and responsive library support. So, and I will say to you, especially those who are MSBM students, there is a team that you should make sure that you are connected with, led by Sandra March. And then, of course, her team is just as committed. They will be at you consistently. They will be at you because they want to see you succeed. They have you in mind for the end, not just to start and not just to be halfway, but to go right to the very, very end. So I want to thank you for sharing with us. I want to thank you for giving us the opportunity to welcome you to our family, to welcome you to UWI Mona WJC, and to give us this responsibility of carrying on the rich tradition that we know that's within the MSBM system. So thank you for choosing UWI Mona, and thank you for choosing MSBM, and thank you for sharing this commitment with us. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, Dr. Prendergast. And you handled my appearance very well, you know. I tell them that when they see me appear on the screen, it means it's the wrap-up signal. All right, wonderfully done. And I like to speak of that campus as a campus in our tourism mecca. So that's our tourism campus. Thank you, Dr. Prendergast. At this moment, we are at the most exciting point in our program. We're at the meat of the matter. We are going to be hearing from someone who is simply phenomenal. You would have heard a lot of the more mundane academic things from myself and Dr. Prendergast, albeit the most important part of what you do. But very importantly, we wanted to have someone speak with you. As we talk about beginning with the end in mind, this is someone who can help you to understand what is going to be important in the end, but at the same time, she's here to talk about enhancing your academic journey. We have with us Lisa Suarez Lewis, who is founder and CEO of Great People Solutions, GPS Limited. Very importantly for us is that she's a member of the board of the Mona School of Business and Management. And she also sits on multiple other boards such as Wisynco and Sagicor Investments, just to name a few. One of the things I've learned is that the introduction must never be longer than the presentation which is to come. So I will not go much further into that other than to say she's also a double graduate of the University of the West Indies with an MBA and a BSc. Her MBA was in finance and marketing, and her bachelor's was in industrial engineering, first class honors from the St. Augustine campus. I would like at this moment to give a warm welcome to Lisa Suarez-Lewis, who will do her guest speech at this moment. Over to you, Lisa.
Thank you very much, Andrew. And I will just go ahead and share my screen, and you can just let me know when you are seeing it.
Yes, you're up.
Awesome. Okay. Well, thank you, Andrew. Thanks, Dr. McBean, and everyone, and welcome. It's a real pleasure to go through this presentation, and I only have 10 minutes, so I'm going to go pretty fast. I wanted to just take you through some of the things. I'm so proud of being a University of the West Indies graduate and from 2 campuses, which makes me have an even more diverse experience to be on the board. And I'm going to say 1 or 2 things as we go through this presentation to help you to see why, I am investing as much as I can to make sure the brand of UWI and the accreditation and all the strategic things that the MSBM does continues to hold value. Why? Because I have 2 degrees, and we're going to make sure that it continues to be recognized globally. So I will just fast go forward. I know the theme was to create our own student experience and to enhance it. And I would say to you that all of the presentations so far, including about the Western Jamaican campus, was so interesting. I realized that if I had something like that, I would have even started on a stronger footing with my university experience. So one of the things I decided was that rather than tell you what to do, there's so many options online that you can read about. You can create your own strategy, come up with your top 10 list of things that you want to have and ensure that you can actually, lead your own experience. And before I say anything on that, I just want to set some context. So my company, and if you read up about my background, you'll see I started off in engineering. I even went to school with Dr. McBean. I started actually at UWI Mona, realized that I wanted to do something different, transferred and became an engineering graduate. When I went into business, I did consulting, manufacturing, telecommunications, banking, fast-moving consumer goods. All of those things kind of led me into human resources. So I'm a human resources consultant, and I'm also an executive coach, and I've never stopped learning. But one of the things I always speak about when I speak with leaders is that all roads lead to leadership. And if you do not know the term VUCA, that it's a VUCA world, in 2021, it's a VUCA plus world. VUCA is actually an acronym that started with the US Army. And it's really started in 1988, which I know this is going to make me look ancient, which means Dr. McBean is ancient too. I would have graduated in 1987. So VUCA, the term, started in 1988 from the US Army, all in the height of the Cold War. And it's really about the world and the environment that they took from the US Army into what was in business. It stands for volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous. So business leaders are now realizing, even with COVID, we're in a VUCA plus world. So coming out of UWI and MSBM, it's really important for us to realize that the world has changed. So even a presentation that we did last year and what we'll be talking about, we have to think differently. The complexity of the world is different. And therefore, having what some people say is a AAA strategy, and please take some notes while you're seeing these presentations, it's all about things like coming out with behaviors like being anti-fragile, anticipatory, and agile. So some things are popping up as the skills that we need on top of our degrees. So think about the VUCA Plus world, read it up. It's exciting in terms of what it has to offer. Now, I'd say that navigating UE is like really navigating a new hire in a new company. So if you join a new company today as a recruiter, because remember I said I'm in human resources, so I do executive search and selection. I only do senior leadership roles in organizations. So a client will come to me and say, I need to find a chief financial officer. Those are the kind of roles I do. So I anticipate that years down the line, not too long, I'm going to be recruiting persons on this call. So I would say that for you to really shine in an interview with somebody like me, I need to see that when you even went to UE, you were actually navigating it in a way that said you were actually in charge of your future and you were driven. So I would say some of the things you may want to look on is, first of all, embrace all the new systems. With everything online, I know what Dr. Spencer spoke about, the SaaS system, understand it, use it. Navigating that system should be second nature to you. Understand and learn about the offices and the key people. Know where the aid is. Not every university student comes in with everything laid out. So know where to find the aid. Put a lot of attention on your well-being. Be aware that university campuses around the world have issues. So you have to be safe, not only COVID safe, but whether it's something like sexual harassment, that's a new act that's coming out in Jamaica. It applies to institutions as well. So, it's really important for you to be unsafe on campus and off campus. So knowing your well-being. Another thing with well-being that people are looking on is that you have to navigate your mental health. This is something that's popping up on university campuses as well. And that's because we're seeing it in the workplace. Work from home has been a very depressing experience for some people. So really navigating your well-being and using the creative options and the get-togethers, and you may be physically distanced, but you can be socially connected. So that's another thing. The mindset of being socially connected is really important. So manage your well-being. Connect and collaborate is really important. That's how you get teamwork that delivers great results on your projects. And collaboration leads to innovation. So I'm going to speak a little bit more about that. Be autonomous. I have a colleague in my team. He's actually at Howard University. He's one of my consultants, and he's based in Washington, D.C. And he says that one of the things they look for students and upfront is to be autonomous. You own your future. So you have to be managing your credits. Nobody's going to manage them for you. So you have to be able to know where you want to go and make your decisions as an adult. And of course, stay current. So fast tracking into what I really want to talk to you about is that by the time you finish university, you're going to be speaking to people like me. But I would say, look on the theme of this year. It's all about going into the future. The future in 2020 told us that 50 to 60% of job holders expected their jobs to change or require new skills in 5 years. That's by 2025. We have lost a year. So that's 4 years. Think about that number. It means that by the time you're graduating in 2024, even 2025, you're going to be actually landing yourself in a job environment, which might be very different from what it looks like today. Now, actually, I saw this statistic when I was in Mumbai last year. I went to a conference in India, and I was privileged enough to receive an award there in terms of my coaching. And I would say to you that it was stunning for me. But because I was in that side of the world in Asia, this was exactly what they were experiencing. There was no ifs or buts. People knew their jobs would change. And that was before COVID actually hit. So you may find that that number could be higher or faster. So I would then point you to this graph, this chart, which basically gives you a quick way to understand the skills that the future requires. Most of them start with C's. So, you can take notes, you can take a picture of this slide. It's really up to you to develop these things as you go along. It's not just a curriculum that you sit in a classroom, but how you communicate. So communication, creativity, critical thinking, and I'll pause on this one. If you are doing case studies, I would say take them very seriously. I've actually done some lecturing at UA, and I just went straight to case studies, and I could differentiate students in my class who were actually focused or not, was able to actually come up with an opinion, how they, digested information, how they were able to think on their feet, how they were curious, all the things I look for when I'm recruiting. So the case studies are critical to participate, as well as practical application. So if you get any sort of project that takes you out into industry to do a project, say, yes, I'll do it. Lead, take it really importantly, because that's the way you develop critical thinking. Coming out of the University of the West Indies without critical thinking as one of your strongest points might cause you to have difficulty to compete for a job in 2024-25. So I would say focus on that and use every opportunity you have. Being curious and being a coach is important. So, just strengthen your mentoring skills. Make sure that you ask a lot of questions so you are able to form your opinion. Focus on collaboration, inclusivity. In other words, embrace the diversity around you. Don't choose a group because there are people like you. It's hardly likely you'll learn a lot there. So focus on that. And then I just put a big group of things on the computer-based skills. So whether you're doing coding or anything more exciting than that, the point is, don't stereotype yourself that you won't be able to understand applications. Learn about applications. If you're in HR, go online and choose some free applications to understand what an HR information system works and looks like. Same thing in finance, any of the areas that you are. Just immerse yourself because there's a lot of available apps that are online. And of course, be an agile learner. Now, I'll leave this with you for you to research. So this is from the World Economic Forum. You can look on it online. And they basically gave us the top 10 skills for 2025. Now, these may even change a little bit because COVID has changed things. But I would encourage you to kind of go online and pull this list off and even take a picture. It's very, very, and as you can see, number 4, critical thinking, complex problem solving, active learning. These are things I've said. The reality is that it is going to be even more important to differentiate yourself. So as I put on my recruiter hat and I interview people all the time, bear in mind, it takes 15 seconds, not 15 minutes, not 5 minutes. It takes 15 seconds for recruiters like me to read a CV. You have got to stand out. It is important that when you even come out of university, you have to be putting things on your CV that cause me to even get attention on your CV. So it's important to stand out from day one. And because of that, I would say just take this little 30-second exercise. Consider if you're going to an organization, a university that's accredited internationally, it's really important for you to come out with your brand and to be able to have 3 words that describe it. So take a second and write down your 3 words for what your brand, your personal brand will be at UWI. Because if you sit in front of an interviewer, I may ask you that question, but I'll also probe. So it's not something you can make up. And I wanted to take the second to just introduce you to share a couple with you while you think about your own. One of the places that I went to, and I completely enjoyed my MBA, executive MBA at UWI. I went to the Richard Ivey School of Business and I did a 10-day course on the accelerated management talent. It was the opportunity where my company invested in me and I did that residential. And I actually always look back on Richard Ivey School of Business because it's kind of like Harvard, but not the Harvard. And I picked up some of the things that they actually said they described those graduates with. And these are absolute words that could be used for University of the West Indies students at MSBM. And these were some of the words. And I said, these are brands. So if you go into UWI and this is your brand, here are some of the ones that you could consider if you don't have your 3 words already. Always prepared, always on time, incredibly smart, personifies the values of the university. And we had those 5 values today: innovation, excellence, transparency, civic responsibility, and integrity. takes initiative, great team player, produces results, unrivaled network. So imagine coming to a job and you have an unrivaled network because you are actually creating relationships while you are on campus. Involved, a great mentor, opens doors, pays it forward. So in other words, being involved in the community, taking the civic responsibility value to life. Interesting, has a sense of purpose, has a sense of community, selfless giver, stood out from the rest, very confident. And I would say that one is so important. Speaks well, that's also important. Exudes admirable executive presence. Imagine saying that about a graduate. Competent and excellent. So these are words that actually mirror things that come out from your values. So take some time, think about the values, choose your words. Now, I can't not say this. And actually, my colleague who is at Howard University, and I was saying, what do you think they need to hear? And he says, listen, do not end that presentation without talking about your social media footprint. And I must say it so, because guess what? Every day we look on social media. So be aware that maybe you want to look back on your social media footprint from now. Maybe you want to start redirecting it and start looking on how you can be, more active on LinkedIn, get the information, share opinions. Maybe the twerking video that you have, you want to kind of take that down. It's a number of things that you want to consider. But at the end of the day, it's really important to discuss your social media footprint from as early as your start of university and what you want it to be. Keep the outcome in mind. So this is as much as I kind of want to say today in terms of ending that it's really not an end. If you're focused on the future, you're an agile learner for life. And I'll give you my own experience there. For me, I would have started in, and I'll stop sharing here and just go on screen. For me, I would have, I don't know if you're seeing me if I'm pinned or what, but you should be able to see me here. Yes. So for me, I would have started in engineering. I had a great time doing my MBA and I had an exciting group. I took my responsibilities very seriously. I was the youngest in my executive MBA group. I learned a lot from the teams that I was on. So every assignment I took so seriously. So distinctions come for you when you actually embrace the idea that I'm going to come up with a distinction, which I did. So I completely enjoyed it. But one of the things is that you don't stop learning. So I'm now an executive coach. I completely enjoy coaching. And sometimes I may take on too much, but can I tell you, the world is changing. So my coaching is in energy leadership. It's all about energy. I also am doing a certification in breakthrough coaching. I've done breakthrough performance coaching before because nothing is in a straight line. You're going to meet huge objectives and targets and boulders and things that get in your way. So it's about freeing up your thinking. So I do breakthrough coaching. And now the one I'm doing is positive intelligence. And it's also about mental fitness. So in my ability to embrace diversity and learn from people, every Tuesday, in fact, I have to join a group right after this call. I'm on a group with somebody who is from New York City, New Delhi in India, and South Africa. And the four of us are on a mastermind group. So I just want to let you know that the thinking and learning does not stop. I completely encourage you in what you're about to embark on. Embrace the university experience. If it's not offered, ask for it. Make it, create it. And you have a fantastic faculty. I know them very well, and I hope to get down to the Western campus one day. But I think it's really important that you take this as an opportunity that is going to be very different. None of us would experience what you're experiencing, which is going into a university experiencing with COVID. I completely encourage you to go into it with an open mind and make the most of it. Congrats on getting in and enjoy. Thank you very much. Andrew, over to you.
Thank you very much, Lisa. I really, I look back at my life 2 decades ago and I wished someone would have come on and done this for me. I think that was fabulous. It gives a great sense. And what it says to me too is that the MSBM is doing what it should do. A lot of those critical skills that you are looking for are the things we have outlined in our strategy plan for the ideal graduate. So wonderful, thank you. The questions, Lisa, we will if we get some, we'll find a way to incorporate a little bit later on. And thank you very much. I don't accept this idea about you and David not being ancient, but since you have declared it yourself, having heard from ancient folks and having heard from young people like Patrick Prendergast and myself, I think the students want to hear from their peers. And that takes us to the very next section in the program, which is really fabulous. We're going to be asking Ramon McLaren to take the students through a discussion of some testimonials. Ramon is a lecturer and he teaches in the MSc Computer-Based Management Information Systems. Ramon, over to you. I know you'll use the time wisely. You'll see my picture appear. If that's not the case, we look forward to hearing from the students.
That almost sounds like a warning, Dr. Spencer. Testing. Can everyone see me?
Yes, we can see and we can hear.
Okay, perfect. So first of all, let me add my voice to the chorus and welcome you all to the MSBM family. And as Dr. Spencer introduced me, my name is Ramon McLaren, and I teach computer applications and system analysis and design at the undergraduate level. Now, tertiary education is a journey. And what better way for you to hear about the potential bumps and bruises, keeping in mind what the theme is, starting with the end in mind, than speaking with one of your peers who is at close to the end of her journey. So we're going to speak with Akila Williams, who will try to help you navigate some of the bumps that may occur along the way. Good morning, Akila.
Good morning, Ramon. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen.
How's everything? First and foremost, thanks so much. Akila is a third-year management studies major with a very interesting minor in event management, which is actually offered by another faculty. But before we even get into that, Akila, can you tell me a little bit about when you first started? What were you most looking forward to when you entered the University of the West Indies?
All right, so when I just started university, I was looking forward to how the courses would be and how the structure of the lecture theaters would stay, what group work would be like, as well as how I would be able to function and manage all of these courses and my time, because I was told that one course is like doing a lot of six subjects over again.
So you came in with a number of expectations.
Yes.
Were those expectations founded, or were you worried about nothing, or were you not worried enough?
I was not worried enough, especially as to how I manage the courses and my time and my social life.
All right, so let me move on from that then. If you were able to give yourself a piece of advice, you're now in your third and final year. If you're able to go back and give yourself a single piece of advice when you just started, what would it be?
All right, I would tell myself to be more strategic with how I approach not only my courses, but how I approach studying and my time with gearing up to exams. So I'll tell myself that I need to analyze how I want the semester to flow for me so that I can have good grades at the end of it.
But that sounds a lot like the theme, which is starting with the end in mind. What kind of mindset do you take going into your examinations, and has being online changed any of that mindset? Just stemming from what you just said.
Well, with classes being online, no, nothing has really changed with how I approach exams. I still try to be as strategic with ensuring that I start studying probably a month in advance or a few weeks, and trying to see what course assignments need to get done before actually indulging studying.
Okay, and that has worked for you, right?
Yes.
Okay, just making sure. Now, going back to your major in management studies and your minor in event management, you're doing a cross-faculty combination, which is something that a number of our students that are online currently are going to attempt as well. Can you give some insight as to the best way to navigate the university successfully, especially if you're doing things across faculty?
All right, so one thing that I do and I would suggest to others, especially my mentees that I have, is that they should be as involved in their faculty as well as other faculty and the respective departments that they're doing their major and their minor at. They should also try to follow up every year with the handbooks because there are sometimes changes or updates made. So they need to ensure that that updates, they need to see if that update applies to them and they need to change up what courses they have to do for the respective years that they're going to start at uni. They should also follow up with participate in mentorship programs because you never know when when it comes to registration or being as involved in the school as possible, sometimes students are lost. So it's important that they try to be as involved in getting to know more about the school and other activities and clubs or even how they should approach their academics.
Thanks for that, Akila. You mentioned the clubs and involvement in clubs. Are you involved in a club? No. Which club and what drove you to become a part of that club?
All right, so I'm currently the treasurer for the Human Resource Management Association. What drove me to join is not only that I study human resource management for my major, but it's because I want to be more involved in HR, because I plan to, even though I plan to pursue a career in event management, I want to be able to develop myself professionally so that I'm more confident and I can carry myself as a more respectable person when working with others.
Thanks for that, Akila. Final question. Last time if you put up with me now, one more question. You're now at the end of your journey.
Yes.
What would you say is your biggest fear having to leave the university and go out in the working world in a year's time?
All right, so my biggest fear is actually not finding a job or even ending up pursuing my career because I have come across persons who are pursuing careers or even are in jobs that are completely unrelated to their degree. So I'm being fearful of being someone like that who I'm not pursuing my dream, but I have to deal with what the economy and reality pushes in front of me.
Brilliant answer. One last part B to that. How do you, with that in mind, what are you doing currently, and what would you advise other students to be able to mitigate that particular fear?
All right, to mitigate that fear, so if someone fears changing their career up even after they leave university, one of the things that I did because I had a fear that I had visited the placement and career services office so that I could do a test to see if the degree that I'm pursuing is something that I actually want to do. I tried to see if I can do other voluntary work, find internships, or at least listen to podcasts to see if I want to pursue the career that I want, that I'm currently doing my degree, I should say, or if I dream of doing something else.
All right. Thank you so much, Akila. I have no more questions. Thank you for facilitating this interview. I know it has been worthwhile to the incoming students. And I hope for those incoming students that actually have questions, hope you write them down and actually ask them in the breakout sessions that will be held later. Thanks so much. Dr. Spencer, it's back to you.
Thank you so much, Ramon, and thank you, Akila. I'm sure that was very eye-opening. I'm simply in love with that sharing that just took place. And so students, it's the perfect segue. You've heard from someone who's living the experience that you're about to live. But it's also important for you to have a representation. We believe that students must be duly represented. And so at this point, we encourage you to view a video from your MSBM Guild representative, Ms. Regine Hibbert. Bear in mind that that a lot of what takes place, you will need to channel these issues through your MSBM rep to the Faculty of Social Sciences rep to your broader guild representatives. Now you have a choice. These are people that you duly elect. So we'd like for you to hear this video now from Miss Rogine Hibbert, your MSBM guild representative. Are we ready with that?
Fulfilling your dreams and accomplishing the goals that you have set out for yourself. However, I know that most, if not all of you, never imagined that this would have been the mode in which you maneuvered university. But I can guarantee you that if you put your mind to it, you can make the best out of your online classes. Take me for an example. I am a finalizing student pursuing a double major. I have been heavily involved in campus life, and I'm currently serving on 3 guild committees, all while being on the faculty's prestigious dean's list for 4 consecutive semesters thus far. I did not achieve this simply because I am gifted or naturally smart, but because I knew how to manage my time in order to achieve what I wanted. And that is what I'm mainly here to speak with this cohort about: how to make the most out of your online learning experience. So firstly, you have to get yourself in the mindset of doing online classes. Persons tend to significantly underestimate the workload, the gravity of the workload that is required of them, and they slack off, thinking that they have more time and freedom. You need to mentally prepare yourself and get into the mindset of actively listening and learning and putting in the extra work that will be required in order to secure those A's. Also, get yourself physically ready for your classes. So get out of bed, eat breakfast, and get ready as if you had face-to-face classes, and try not to attend them in your pajamas. Trust me, it helps. You also want to establish what you want to achieve at the beginning of the semesters. What are your long-term and short-term end goals? Is it to get straight A's, to end up on the dean's list, or to secure your degree in order to be that financial advisor in the future? Before you can begin your journey, you need to know what your end goals are in order to guide yourself on the right path and to actively work towards achieving them. Another helpful tip is to find or create a space dedicated for working. One thing that tends to demotivate persons from completing their work is an environment that is not conducive to being productive, which is completely understandable because now your home has to be both your workspace and your place to rest. But the onus is on you to find or even create a space where you feel comfortable enough to work, and that has limited physical and digital distractions. So after you have found your work area and you begin classes, you need to try to remain connected and actually engage with your lecturers and classmates. I personally find it much easier and less intimidating to do so in the virtual space rather than face-to-face, as I don't have 200 or even 300 other faces looking back at me when I'm speaking. Don't be afraid to virtually raise your hands to seek clarifications if something is unclear, and engage with the lecturers if they're having conversations pertaining to lessons. It will help you to absorb and understand the information better, and it will definitely make mid-semesters and finals much easier for you. Another really helpful tip is to not procrastinate. Students tend to wait until the very last minute to begin a task that they had days to complete. Like, yes, you have managed to submit the assignment minutes before the deadline, but at what cost? The work you produced more than likely was not to the best of your abilities because you constantly had to watch the clock to ensure that you still had a few minutes to spare. And more than likely, you were not able to review it, so it contained more than enough errors. In order to make the workload seem less daunting than it actually is, I personally find it helpful to create schedules or project lists with realistic expectations of what I want to accomplish in a day or a week. Breaking those big projects up into smaller tasks and attaching deadlines to them should make the workload feel easier and achievable and actually motivate you to attack them. So finally, The last tip that I have for you is to take a break. You know your mind and your body better than anyone else. So when you're feeling overwhelmed, don't be afraid to hit the pause button and speak to someone if you need to, because I personally know that online learning and maneuvering everything virtually can be daunting and it tends to be mentally draining. So if you need to relax, refresh, and recharge, please do so and don't overwork and overexhaust yourself. And with that being said, remember that time is the most valuable point in your life. You and you alone can determine how it is spent, and spending it effectively can not only allow you to excel academically, but in other various extracurricular activities. The habits you develop now will be the habits that stick with you in the long run. So determine how well you want to spend your time. And with that, good luck.
Thank you very much, Ms. Hibbert. Very, very inspiring. At this time, we want to introduce you to something that I think is a powerful part of what the MSBM does. It is the Vincent Hosang Entrepreneurship Program. This is an initiative sponsored by Dr. Vincent Hosang, CEO of Caribbean Food Delights, and it's done through the Vincent Hosang Family Foundation in partnership with the MSBM. This partnership has existed since 2002. I think what is most impressive about this program is that not only will you pursue academics on campus, but through this program, you will get exposed to starting your own business. Fantastic stuff. I invite Tamara Thomas, the program coordinator, to share more details with you on the program.
Good morning, and once again, congratulations on your acceptance to the Mona School of Business and Management. We're truly excited to have you join us. My name is Tamara Thomas, and I'm the coordinator for the Vincent Hosang Entrepreneurship Program's UE Venture Competition. Are you an aspiring or a natural entrepreneur? Do you have a good business idea you want to bring to life? Then we invite you to join the UE Venture Competition. The competition is open to all enrolled students, undergraduate and graduate within the university. And most importantly, it's free of cost. The official launch of the competition will take place in September of this year. So we will be contacting you via email to give you further details. Get the opportunity to win cash prizes, benefit from ongoing mentorship, and get access to virtual networking sessions and so much more. Please follow us on our social media pages at UE.vc. To enter the competition and for more information, please contact us at uevc.vhep@uemona.edu.jm or give us a call at 876-977-6035 extension 403. I now invite you to view this short video about the 2021 UE Venture Competition. So again, congratulations and good luck.
Wonderful, exciting stuff. Thank you, Tamara. At this point, we have a few videos to share with you on clubs and societies. We're going to abbreviate that and show you a bit of each. We may not be able to get to the end of each of those, but we're going to share a bit of each of those with you. I will trust our tech to manage that process in terms of how we make it through and truncate. So over to you, Lorenzo and Brian, with the clubs.
Pelicans. My name is Jalen Wells, and I'm the president of the Association of Aspiring Accountants. I welcome you to the UWI Mona, and most importantly, the Faculty of Social Sciences and the Department of the Mona School of Business Management, where you will have fun adventures, a lifetime of learning, and long friendships ahead. But before we even dwell in, I want to show a little past about the Association of Aspiring Accountants. So take a look. That said, you've seen all our past initiatives, and we have a lot more initiatives to come as seen in the video. And so I want you guys to remember why you have attended this university or what you're going to do. Set lifelong goals. And this club is a club of learning and experiencing and mixing and mingling with persons that will help you grow and develop into the leaders of tomorrow, persons in society that will help build and help develop our country into one of the best countries it can be. So remember to always have your goals, and remember to aspire to be different and aspire to be great. And remember to join the Association of Aspiring Accountants this September.
Hey Freshers, my name is Christina Hyatt, and I will be serving as your president of the UWI Marketing Association for the academic year 2021 to 2022. UMA is UWI's biggest and baddest marketing club, with over 200 members inducted and hopefully to have you joining us this semester. UMA is a great place for anyone who's into marketing or business or is a creative at heart. If we're honest, Big Bad UMA is for everyone. We want to cater to you. With esteemed speakers each year from many industries, you're bound to gain something from your experience, whether knowledge or a good networking link or even great friends for life. This club has not only provided pure fun and good times for its members, but many have gone on to have a solid presence in the marketing industry. Digital marketing agencies, marketing executives, photographers, graphic designers, society leaders, and more. These are the types of professionals UMA has produced and will open up the door to for you to gain the necessary advice and experience to launch your post-university careers. The pandemic posed a challenge to our normal way of hosting things, including our popular college cooler fest and futsal football competition, but this year we're adapting, and we're going to come back stronger with new and improved events to look forward to. This year we wanted a fresh start for you. We're coming back bigger and better than ever before, and I'm really excited to create new experiences and new events with you. We plan on having special games, some fun and vibes-filled events for everyone to participate in, and more. Another thing, we want to hear from you. Link us on our socials and let us know what you want to see from us this year and what you're looking forward to most. Stay tuned and we can't wait to see you.
HR, interested in a club that caters to your personal and professional development? Well, the Human Resource Management Association UE chapter is the club for you. I'm Abigail Monroe, President of HRMA. Tune in as the remaining executive members speak on our objectives, upcoming plans, and give a recap of this past year.
Hi everyone, I'm Akila Williams, Treasurer of the Human Resource Management Association at UE. At our club, our objective is to foster unity among students studying human resource management and other disciplines. Our second objective is to ensure that students develop the skills that are necessary for their development in the corporate world. And finally, our most important objective is to ensure that we are a charitable service.
Hello, my
to our
name is Anisha Nelson. I am the Public Relations Officer of the HRMA UE Club. I am here to discuss the plans that are set aside for the upcoming semester and onwards. First, we will have meetings every Thursday at 2 p.m. where we will discuss topics related to personal and professional development. We will also have virtual parties, fun activities, and giveaways. We will have a subcommittee to plan.
Wonderful. Listen, I know we just whet your appetite. This has been simply fantastic. And when you're having this much fun, the time tends to go. So students, we're about to head into our breakout sessions. And I just wanted to say a few final things to you. First of all, you'd have heard what everybody said. You need to decide some things early. When is the end? You need to work that down to an actual month, an actual year. You need to live in that future state, always doing daily what it takes to get there. You need to decide, what do you want at the end of it? What type of graduate do you want to be? You've heard that from other presenters. Will you be one that will have the skills to excel in your industry of choice? Will you be one who will get the degree without compromising ethical standards, as Dr. McBean said? Are you one who will absorb every single moment purposefully to become the best versions of yourselves? Will you be one who will be our perfect brand ambassador, inspiring us to write the best recommendations so that you can get the best jobs, get into the best higher degrees, and cop the best scholarships? Think about all of this. Begin with the end in mind. At this moment, I want to invite you students to follow all our MSBM social media pages so that you can get regular updates on activities and events. Please also download the MSBM app from the Google Play Store. Be sure to do that. It's the way to stay in touch. It's the way to stay in tune. You would have been given information on the breakout sessions. I look forward to seeing you there. Students will be going to their various units. You have accounting and finance. There will be entrepreneurship on its own, even though it's a part of the MIBES unit. Then for those going to the MIBES unit, you will be the marketing and tourism majors. And then management studies and HRM will go to behavioral sciences and general management. And of course, operations management will go to decision sciences. We look forward to engaging you further. Thank you for being a fabulous audience. Thanks to everyone who has put this together so brilliantly. I would like to call their names, but they know themselves. They were the team behind all of this. Bless you. Thank you. In particular, the committee, I just want to say a big thank you, and we look forward to talking to you some more. God bless.